Good afternoon to Ms. Wai and my fellow classmates. The topic that we will talk today for our documentary is Life Below Water. Life below water is one of the global goals for sustainable development. It can define by conserve and sustainably use the oceans, seas, and marine resources for sustainable development. The biggest impact that life below water cannot reach is pollution. There are 40% of the oceans is heavily affected by pollution. Depleted fisheries, loss of coastal habits, and other human activities, and the ocean absorbs about 30% of carbon dioxide produced by humans, buffering the impacts of global warming. In the oceans, coral reefs are known as marine rainforests and are home to about 25% of the fish and other life in the ocean, which is why their health is key to a strong and self-sustaining marine ecosystem. As coastal construction increases and global temperatures rise, an estimated 33% of corals are now in danger of extinction. Marine studies have also shown an 80% decline in some forms of coral over the last decade. And thanks to climate change and certain destructive human practices, it's showing no signs of stopping anytime soon.
Without the coral reefs, the ocean will not be able to absorb as much carbon dioxide, leaving more carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. The loss of the coral reefs will have a devastating impact on tropical countries' economy, food supplies, and the safety of their coastal communities. This makes the global goals a very difficult challenge to achieve life below water. So, let's talk about the NGO and what are the ways the NGO can do to solve these problems. Reef Check Malaysia was established in 1996 by the founder Mr. Julian Hyde. They are working towards sustainable management of coral reefs in Malaysia. They bring together stakeholders to collaborate on coral reef monitoring, management, research and conservation, and advocacy.
They monitor the health of coral reefs at over 200 sites every year. They are based on 3 islands in Malaysia, working on community projects to conserve our marine resources. Reef Check Malaysia is a non-profit organisation that relies on support and sponsorship from various companies and organisations for their programs. A big part of their support comes from volunteer eco-divers, without whom their surveys would never get done. Their eco-divers are regular divers, each taking their time off their own jobs and busy schedules to help them out with their annual surveys. There are about 16 organizations sponsor and support Reef Check Malaysia to accomplish their focus and work. Then, we had the pleasure of inviting and interviewing one of the managers of Reef Check Malaysia and asked a few questions about the problems that Reef Check Malaysia face and issues of the life below water.
I am Haris from Salmi College, studying in Foundation in Arts, and here are my group mates.
Adam bin Asri.
I'm Suyao. I'm Jifeng.
And we would like to thank you for taking your time to attend this interview. We are going to ask a few questions for our English assignment. Thank you to Mr. Calvin, the Program Manager for Reef Check Malaysia, for taking his time to do this interview. Me and my group are going to ask a few questions for our English assignment. The first question is, what is the motivation of creating Reef Check Malaysia?
Reef Check Malaysia focuses on programs that helps to promote coral reef conservation and management in Malaysia. We are currently working on the Eco Action Program, which we train certified divers how to conduct reef check surveys, and also organize an annual survey of coral reefs around Malaysia. We can learn from the changing status of coral reefs from the data that we have collected over time and decide what steps can be taken to conserve them. Currently, we are monitoring for over 220 reef sites around Malaysia, and we have trained more than 900 eco-divers. Besides, We focus on improving our understanding of coral reef science. We conduct reef rehabilitation programs in Tioman and Mantan Lani. We have conducted a reef resilience surveys in Tioman, Sibu, and Rodang, the results of which we use in management plans for the islands. Reef Check Malaysia has a coral bleaching response plan that ensures effective communications and coordination of management efforts to protect coral reefs during bleaching events. The local community also plays a huge role in protecting the marine lives. We believe these programs would not be as successful without the help and involvement of the local communities in protecting marine areas. One of our goals is to involve local communities in the management and conservation of their islands' resources.
What is the background of Reef Check Malaysia?
Reef Check Malaysia was established in the USA in 1996 to raise awareness about the importance of and the threats to coral reefs. Reef Check Malaysia was registered as a non-profit organization in 2007 to engage with stakeholders to protect and revive coral reefs in Malaysia. In addition to conducting reef surveys all around Malaysia, we also have 3 long-term community programs on islands. We have been working on Tioman Island since 2013. This long-term community-based program is the first in Malaysia and aims to build ecological and social resilience on Tioman Island. We are working to reduce local impacts to the island's coral reefs and build the capacity of the local community to take a greater role in conservation and management. The next island is Pulau Mantani in Sabah. This small island is identified as a hotspot for fish bombing. Since that time, we have carried out various projects from reef rehabilitation through to waste management. Our focus now is to support the local community in establishing a community-managed protected area at the islands. Last, we have collaborated with Marine Parks Malaysia in conserving the Sibu Tinggi Marine Park in Johor. The goal is to establish a co-management system that will optimize conservation of the island's marine resources and protect the resident dugong population. We have provided education and raised awareness for schools, resort, dive operators, and tourists.
What is the problem that Reef Check Malaysia usually face?
Our organization, like many other NGOs out there, is facing the problem of having insufficient funds to work with. Our finances are mostly used to fund our expeditions to the sea as we routinely conduct our reef surveys around Malaysia. Without a sufficient amount of these funds, our major and important routines will come to a standstill, making our surveys to the sea come to a halt as well. To counter this lack of funds, we plan to get as much donors as we can to fund our operations to lighten our weight.
What is the problem what can we do to raise awareness about the reef coral problems?
Doing a documentary on this topic like you guys are would be a fine way to raise awareness about the issue. And I think that instead of raising awareness, taking action would bring more of a major difference to the issue itself. Divers like us conduct reef check surveys and organize an annual survey of the coral reefs around Malaysia to collect data with the intent to reflect the changing status of the coral reefs.
Do people today know much about marine life?
Not as much as we hope they do. The general public tends to have a cliche perspective of the sea as a place to have fun or maybe go surfing. But to us researchers and scientists, we view the sea as an important asset to us human beings as it gives us oxygen, food, water, energy, raw materials, and it even regulates the Earth's temperature. Like we have learned in school many times before, polluting our sea would bring a great calamity upon humankind. Without our main source of water being clean and all, it would bring a heavy load on people most definitely. We hope that programs that brings us awareness about this issue, like your documentary, would educate those who are ignorant about the marine life and its importance.
Does the pollution caused by human development affects the marine ecosystem?
Yes. Climate change has become the main effect of human development, and it leads to affecting the marine life and marine habitats. As climate change tightens its grip, the effects are being felt across the planet.
Other than that, does the pandemic of COVID-19 affects the Reef Check Malaysia?
Yes. After the government had announced the MCO, we had stopped all of our events. On the other hand, as months of uninterrupted life below the ocean, however, will give marine creatures great and a small chance to recover and flourish. Less human activity is giving ocean ecosystem a chance to recover.
Will it possible that we can achieve life below water?
We know that the global goals is to reducing the pollutions, protect and restore ecosystems, sustainable fishing and others.
Before we end this, I would like to thank Mr. Kelvin, the program manager of Reef Check, again, to actually take his time to come in our interview and answer our burning question. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There are many ways we can play a role in helping protect and save the coral reefs in Malaysia. Here are some options you could consider. We can get into a certified divers. The best way to get involved in reef check conservation programs is to join their survey trips. You can enroll in the Eco Diver course, which trains you to do reef check surveys. Refer to the information sheet below to know more about our Eco Diver program and the certification process. If you are already a diver, then this could be an option for you. We can also join their dive centers. Join their network of partner dive centers that are committed to protecting coral reefs by becoming a Reef Check certified dive center. All you need to do is get one of your staff trained as a Reef Check trainer. Your dive center will then be able to conduct eco divers trainings, and they will work with you to establish permanent survey sites to contribute towards their Reef Check surveys. They will promote you dive centers on their website. By getting involved, we believe that the coral reef in the ocean can be better protected and will not be easily destroyed. The global goal of life below water will be easier to achieve in the years to come. Therefore, let's protect the ocean and reach life below water.